I used to think the worst thing that could happen to a person was losing money. Turns out it's losing your name. Watching strangers decide who you are, based on a headline watching people who once shook your hand suddenly cross the street, yeah, that hits different. And the crazy part is I didn't lose my name because I was reckless or cruel. I lost it because I trusted the wrong person and stayed quiet when I shouldn't have. Let me take you back. The day everything collapsed didn't look dramatic at first. No thunder, no shouting. Just a courtroom that smelled like old wood and recycled air, and a judge who already looked tired of the whole thing. I stood there in cuffs wearing a suit that didn't quite fit anymore, trying to remember how my life had flipped so fast. Across the room, my wife Mara was crying. Real tears, the kind that smear mascara and pull sympathy out of people. Cameras loved her. They barely looked at me. In that moment, the story was already written. I was the villain. She was the broken woman who survived me. A second before the gavel came down, someone spoke up from the back of the room. Soft voice, almost apologetic. Most people didn't even turn around. I did. That voice ended up saving my life. Before all this, I was just a guy who built things. Warehouses, shipping routes, boring stuff most people never think about. I grew up being told to keep my head down, work harder than everyone else, don't complain. So I did. I dressed simple, talked less than necessary, and believed loyalty mattered more than noise. That belief followed me into my marriage. Mara was magnetic. She knew how to walk into a room and make people feel like she belonged there. Charity events, fundraisers, business dinners. She played the role perfectly. People told me I was lucky. I believed them. What I didn't see was how different she became when the doors closed. Public warmth, private distance, long silences at dinner, her phone lighting up at odd hours. I blamed myself, thought maybe I wasn't exciting enough, present enough. You know how it goes. That's when Lena entered our lives. She was our housekeeper, quiet, observant, always in the background. The kind of person people forget is even in the room. I didn't treat her like family, but I treated her like a human being. Said thank you. Asked how her day was. Once I told her not to worry about breaking a glass. Small things. Turns out, small things matter to people who are used to being invisible. Over time, Lena noticed what I didn't. Mara's mood shifts. Locked doors that never used to be locked. A second phone that appeared and disappeared. Papers burned on the balcony late at night. I was busy fixing supply chain problems. Lena was watching a storm form. Then there was Cole. That was the man who changed everything. He came into Mara's life quietly. No flashy entrance. Just the right words at the right time. He told her what she wanted to hear. That she was undervalued. That she deserved more. That I was holding her back. And instead of pushing her to leave, he pushed her to plan. That's the dangerous kind of person. The one who doesn't light the fire, just hands you the matches. One night I came home late from a trip. The house felt wrong. Too still. Mara was sitting on the couch like she'd been waiting for hours. She said we needed to talk. Her voice was soft, shaky. She told me she'd found documents she didn't understand. That she was scared. She handed me a folder. Numbers twisted just enough to look suspicious. Emails stripped of context. I barely had time to process before we heard sirens outside. Police flooded the house. Neighbors gathered. Phones came out. Mara collapsed into tears, sobbing about how she tried to protect herself. I stayed calm. Cooperated. That's what innocent people do, right? As they put the cuffs on me, I looked back at her. She wouldn't meet my eyes. When the door closed behind me, her crying stopped. Lena heard her say it. 2 words. It's done. Prison doesn't hit you all at once. It sinks in slowly. The numbers instead of names. The routine. The way people look at you like they already know your story. News spread fast. Headlines called me a fraud, a monster, a wolf in a suit. Mara gave interviews. Perfect posture, perfect pauses. She said she still loved me, but feared me. Cole stayed invisible. Evidence looked clean. Too clean. Lena couldn't sleep. She replayed everything she'd seen. She knew the truth, but also knew the rules. People like her aren't supposed to speak. Silence keeps you safe. Except it didn't. Silence was killing an innocent man. She started writing things down. Dates, times, words. She didn't know why at first, just a feeling that the truth needed somewhere to live. When she finally went to the courthouse, she didn't plan to testify. She just wanted to understand the place that was deciding my future. That's when a detective noticed her watching a little too closely. When she told him what she'd seen, she didn't accuse. She didn't dramatize. She described. Calmly. Carefully. That was enough to crack the surface. At trial, everything leaned against me. The prosecution spoke like the case was already over. Mara cried on cue. My lawyer did what he could, but we were missing something. A counter-narrative. Then my lawyer called a witness no one expected. Lena. You could feel the room shift when she stood up. Mara went still. Cole dropped his glass. Lena walked to the stand like she was stepping into a different life. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't point fingers. She talked about locked rooms, burned papers, rehearsed fear. And then she said the thing that changed everything. She said fear doesn't stop on command. That the night I was arrested, Mara cried until the cameras left, then went calm and said, "It's done." You could hear people breathing again. Not because they believed me yet, but because the story suddenly had cracks. More evidence surfaced. A second phone. Messages about timing, about signatures, about coordination. Cole tried to deny it. Mara tried to explain it away. Then the judge asked her why she did it. She said she was afraid of losing everything. He asked why she framed me. She said it quietly like she was finally tired of pretending, because I could. That was it. The lie had nowhere left to hide. The verdict came without drama. Charges dismissed. New charges filed. I didn't cheer. I didn't smile. I just breathed. My mother hugged me like she was afraid I'd disappear again. Outside, cameras asked if I felt vindicated. I didn't. I felt clear. Mara went to prison without applause. Cole took a deal. Lena went home and slept for 12 hours straight. Later, I met her in a small park. No reporters, just gratitude. I told her she didn't save me, she told the truth. She said that was the same thing. Freedom felt strange. Not light. Heavy, like responsibility. I rebuilt slowly, transparent this time. Lena started working with advocacy groups. She didn't want fame, just a place where truth could stand without being shouted down. So here's the uncomfortable part. This story isn't really about villains and heroes. It's about silence. How often we confuse it with peace. How often we stay quiet because speaking feels risky. Lena spoke once and it changed everything. Mara stayed silent about her resentment until it turned into something ugly. I stayed silent about distance until it almost destroyed me. Now, I want to hear from you. Was Lena right to step forward even knowing the risk? Was Mara a victim of neglect or a villain of convenience? Have you ever stayed quiet when you knew something was wrong, or spoken up when everyone expected you not to? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Argue if you want. Disagree loudly. That's the point. And if stories about justice bias and the cost of silence matter to you, hit subscribe. Because sometimes the smallest voice is the one that changes the heaviest verdict.